Kakadosh Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha for day 80. We are on Siman Kafchet, page 199, the Halacha Yod. Yeah, it says over here as follows. Yeah, he says like this. Tefillin shel Rosh choletz tchila. You always take off the Tefillin shel Rosh first, and then afterwards you're going to take the Tefillin shel Yad. Yeah, that. Hold on 1 second. Mishum dichtiv, as it's written. Hayul letutuvo berenecha. The Shu Chazal b'menachot. So the Chazal say in Mesech Menachot, kol zman sheben enecha yushtaim. Meaning, as long as they're going to be between your eyes, you always have two. Meaning, whenever you have the Tefillin shel Rosh, you always have to have two Tefillin on. So because of that, that's why it says that you're always going to first take off the Tefillin shel Rosh. Okay, that is Halacha Yod. Look in 216. Rashi explained, that this teaching, he comes and he says as follows, right, is based upon the words that it's a plural, it's like a pronoun. The Levush challenged this interpretation, since the word they, right, refers to the word of the passage of Shema, but not specifically the Tefillin. Therefore, he suggested that our teachers say, right, the sage's teaching is based upon the word totafot, which is likewise, right, the plural. So the Sefer Truma offered this interpretation as well. Tfirat Shmuel also on the Rabbeinu Rosh, right? The Rabbeinu Asher Silchot Tefillin offered a different reason. So he comes and he says, right, which we must be careful not to take off the Tefillin Shel Rosh. Meaning we have to be careful to always take off the Tefillin Shel Rosh first, because as long as it's going to be Berenecha, it has to be in such a fashion. Okay? Halacha Yod Aleph. Kodem sheyachlotz Tefillin Shel Rosh. Before a person is going to come and he's going to be choletz Tefillin Shel Rosh, yeah, he has to take off the shloshet hakrichot metzbao. So first, you take off the three over here, and then on your finger, yeah, and then you're going to take off the tefillin shel Rosh. Yesh noagim al pi HaKabbalah. Some people have al pi HaKabbalah. Benosaf lezeh gam shtayim o shalosh krichot min hazroa. So therefore, they're going to take. Yeah, thank you. You're going to take 2 or 3 from the Zohar as well, meaning you're not only just removing the 3, which is the finger, also from the Zroa. That's al pi HaKabbalah. And then afterwards you're going to take off the Rosh. He wasn't mitaktek on that. Sometimes you should take it off, sometimes not. Right? So basically, it's not something that mamash that you really need to do it. Yeah, so here it says, what about remaining silent after taking off the Tefillin Shel Rosh until one takes off the Tefillin Shel Yad? The Hechal Avram Botchach suggested that it ought to be forbidden to speak after taking off Tefillin Shel Rosh until one takes off the Tefillin Shel Yad, just like it's forbidden to speak after putting on Tefillin Shel Yad until you put on the Tefillin Shel Rosh. Yeah, fine, but no other posek mentioned this stringency. Meaning it's a very nice stringency, but no other posek actually brought this down. Okay? The Galei Razia, yeah? The Galei Razia, he comes and he says as follows. Yeah. The Galei Razia cited the Magen Avraham, and Mishnah Berurah instructed us to unwind the 3 coils from the middle finger and then take off the Tefillin Shel Rosh. Rav Shmuel Vital, however, cited an obscure manuscript. He says of the Shara Kavanot, stating that according to the Arizal, one must take off Tefillin Shel Yad before taking off the Tefillin Shel Rosh. It's just like one puts on the Tefillin Shel Yad and then puts on the Tefillin Shel Rosh. To reconcile the Arizal's ruling of the Shulchan Aruch, Rav Shmuel taught that one must unwind 2 or 3 coils from one's arm. After taking off the Tefillin Shel Rosh, one unwinds the rest of the coils and takes off the Tefillin Shel Yad. Yeah, I just answered your question, if you were paying attention. Rav Shmuel testified that he observed this practice all his life, and that his beloved father also, Rav Chaim Vital, also observed this practice. So that's the reason why you should always take off from the hand as well, meaning not only just from the finger. That means you're not only just taking off the 3 here. You're going to take the 3 off here and 3 here in order to do al pi HaKabbalah. A number of achronim, right? He gave a reason, if you would have read. So he says a number of achronim also bring down, right, this practice. Ben Ishchai found support in the Shara Kavanot. The Halacha Berurah cited a scholar who questioned the veracity of the manuscript cited by the Shmuel, right? And he says he likewise pointed out that although the Rav Chida brought this practice in Machzik Bracha and Tzipor and Shamid, it was just to unwind from the middle finger and then to take off the Tefillin Shel Rosh. Rav Meir Mezuz personally did not follow this instructions of Ben Ishchai for his own reasons, and Marani Shalom sometimes observed it, sometimes not. So you see from here that it's not mamash like a chovah that you have to take off the 3 over here, right? you come and you take off the 3, which is over here. So you take this off, and then you take off the tefillin shalosh. Now again, there's al pi Kabbalah, you take off the 2 or 3. Rav Meir Mezuz did not do it. Rav Vadia sometimes yes, sometimes not. So therefore, you see that it's it's a whole thing like this. What? How do you take off? What? Halacha Yudbet says tefillin shalosh choletz meumad. The tefillin shalosh, you're going to come and you're going to take it off meumad, standing. Yeah, the same thing when you're going to take off the krichot of the fingers, right? Also choletz meumad. With tefillin shel yad choletz miushav, but the tefillin shel yad you take it off sitting down, right? Everyone understood? 1 second. Yeah,
I never understood.
what?
Never understood.
1 second. Just like you put it on when it was sitting also. However, though, according to Minhag Ashkenazim, also tefillin shel yad, they put it on when it's going to be standing. So to the chalitzat tefillin also should be meumad, right? Okay, fine. So it's all going to be also. Yes, they're going to put everything, right, when they're standing. Yeah, tefillin shel yad do everything standing. Basically, it's a pia Kabbalah. We already learned this when we learned halachot of tefillin. What does that mean? When we learned halachot of tefillin, right, we actually learned how do you put on the tefillin? Do you put on the tefillin sitting, standing, tefillin shel yad, tefillin shel rosh? So because of all those things, right, here, this is what we're learning, right? So what happens is that he's saying like this. He's saying one he has to stand while taking off the tefillin shel rosh, right? And he says, and also while taking off the coils. That means basically everything of the rosh is going to be the same thing. The rosh is going to be of the rosh. So he comes and he says, right, right, when a person's coming and now talking about, right, when he's sitting down, that's a yad. So everything of the yad is sitting down, whether it's putting on or taking it off. It's going to be of sitting down, right? Those people who observe, right, the practice of winding, right, and that's what it says Yud Gimel. Hanoagim lachlotz gam shtayim u'shalosh krichot min hazrua kodem chalitzat tefillin shalosh. Right, the ones that they have a minhag of taking off 2 or 3 krichot of the zroa before taking off the tefillin shalosh, yechalzu krichot elu miyushav shetzarich shetiyeh asra k'mo hanacha. Lachen tzarich ledaktek la'asir shlosh krichot shel hazroa miyushav. Meaning, you're taking off, standing up, these. All of a sudden, you sit down and you take off these. Yeah? So again, this is standing, this is sitting. So you sit down, take off the 3, and after taking off the 3, now you're going to take off the rosh, again standing up. Again standing up. Okay, so again, anything to do with the tefillin shel yad, sitting down. Anything to do with the tefillin shel rosh, standing up. So he says, ulam, however, though, yesh shekatvu, some people write, shekevan, שאין כל כך פדע בחליצת הכריכות של זרוע שהיא דווקא מיושב. ולכן עשיתי כריכות בין האצבע שלוש זרוע, הכל כשומם כדי שלא להטריח. Some people say, you know what? I don't want to be matriach because it could be that you don't even need to take off those 3. So if it is that you are already going to come and take off those 3, so you could do everything standing up. No, because this you have to take off standing up, right? So since you're coming and you're taking standing up, so he comes and he says, so therefore, in order not to be matriach, you could do everything sitting down, right? And there's no problem, right? So he says, לא צריך להיות כל כך מקפיד on sitting down. You could do it standing up, right? You're already standing up.
Putting this part on has to be standing up.
Yes, you're doing that sitting up. That's what we said before. Ashkenazim עושים את הכל בעמידה. What?
Everything that you did it, however you put it, is however you put it out.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You complete this one standing up.
So this was again, this was according to that. This is the Ben Ishchai, the way that you're supposed to do it. Yeah, he says like this. Yeah. What? Shh. What? What? כן. הנוהגים לחלוץ רק 3 כריכות מן האצבע, קודם חליצת תפילין של ראש. Yeah, he comes and he says, the one that have the minhag of taking off the 3 כריכות מן האצבע before חליצת התפילין של ראש, חולצים בעמידה את 3 כריכות, right, ואת התפילין של ראש, ושוב יושבים וחולצים התפילין של יד, כמבואר בהלכה הקודמת. So basically, if you're going to do what we mentioned before, meaning Mordechai said, let's say I don't do the Al Pi Kabbalah, meaning I don't do the shalosh here. I only do the hand. So you're already ba'amidah. Ba'amidah, you could take off this because you put this on ba'amidah. When you put on the tefillin shel yad, you're b'yeshiva. Right. But then when you finish here, You stand up, put on the tefillin shalosh, and then ba'amidah, you're doing this. So therefore, the way that you put it on, you took it off. So here you take this off, right? Ba'amidah, take off the tefillin shalosh, sit down, and take off the tefillin again. It's pashut. Yeah? Very pashut. Fine. Very good.